And now we're going to go to Bass Metals to hear about their projects in Madagascar. And to tell you all about it, the CEO, Timothy McManus. So, Tim, please.
Good morning. Just like to thank 121 Group and the sponsors for providing the opportunity to speak with you guys today. We've got quite a compelling story. We think it's a very solid investment and a solid business. We produce large flake premium graphite concentrates out of Madagascar. We've just completed our stage 1 refurbishment. We're back in production for 6,000 tonnes per annum, and we'll take you through the story of Bass and Graphmada. So we're back in production about a month now. We've been very pleased with the results to date. We're getting a high value concentrate, high fixed carbon. We are ramping up to 6,000 tonnes at the moment. We see stage 2 coming on in 2020 for 20,000 tonnes. We've built a lot of the componentry and capacity into stage 1 for that expansion. Right now, from a commercial perspective, we're debt-free. We own the asset 100%. We have 2.6 in cash and receivables in the bank. We also have a number of options worth about $17 million in the money. So we're in a very strong financial position as a company as we ramp up our production. Moving on from stage 2, we'll look to expand into the expandable graphite market, making some final products sort of around 2020, post 2020. And in parallel with that, we have a strategy of expanding our brownfields resources in and around our mine, as well as what we feel is one of the more exciting lithium projects globally at the moment. So just a little bit about our capital market summary. We're roughly about market cap of 62 million. We a share price of 2.8, 2.9, been up to sort of 3 in the last couple of days. We have some independent valuations at 7 and 5 cents. All the executives and management have brought their own shares. We're investors ourselves and considerable holders of stock, and roughly half of the register is in the top 20. So it's a very solid platform for our growth strategy. That's our performance over the last year. We've been solidly growing our share price, and it's, as I've alluded, it's a great platform for what we intend to do and our growth strategy from here on in as an industrial minerals producer. Just a little bit about the team. Rick is our chairman. He's the commercial officer and company secretary at Orocobre, one of the largest lithium producers in the world. Peter Wright, who's in the audience today, also a great background in lithium with Altura. David Round, William Reitz, Jeff, myself, Mama-san and Simon all bring different expertise as a team to grow the company. So a little bit about Graphmada. I'll just point out that we have excellent logistics. You can see here there's a faint line running through the background there. That's actually the National Highway. So we're directly off the National Highway. We export from there to the port of Tamatave, which will be on the next slide. It's roughly about an hour and a half. Very well-established port, excellent logistics. We've been making sales from past production out to the US, Europe and India. We've recently signed a offtake agreement for half of our production to Europe. We continue to make our sales to the US, and we're having a number of different other conversations with parties. A little bit about the deposit. It's, as I mentioned before, it's 100% owned, it's debt-free, it's a unique position. We've got 40-year mining permits, 20-year landholder permits. We have a very unique resource in that it's 90% large to jumbo flake in situ. It sits in soft saprolitic material of about 30 to 40 metres in depth, which is very important in terms of extracting such a soft material from the ground. And as I mentioned, very strong logistics, very straightforward export for us. A little bit about the deposits. We have 4 deposits within our tenure at Graphmada and a 5th to the north. We've continued to drill. We continue to expand our brownfields and resource base, and we're quite excited about some of the recent results we got from Mahala. So why Madagascan graphite? People have been mining graphite out of Madagascar for over 100 years. And that's because it has particular qualities that it's not just the large flake, it's also its expandability. It's also the benchmark for refractories, crucibles and foundries, which is half the market for graphite. We also have an excellent pure graphite once it's refined for battery applications, so 99.99% purity. We also reach all the 30-odd different parameters for batteries. So our plan has always been to be self-sustaining company, provide cash flow, use that as a solid financial platform to then grow the company and provide value to our shareholders. So we've recently completed stage 1. That's 6,000 tonnes per annum. We put in roughly about 53 kilometres of steel. It's been quite a challenge. We've done a lot of the construction and fabrication ourselves on site, which has meant we've been able to keep the capex quite low. So stage 1 cost us $4 million US. Stage 2, we feel it'll cost us, we're doing the studies now, but we think around about 8 to 9 million US. So very low capex. At 20,000 tonnes, we'll be one of the biggest large flake graphite mines in the world. The largest is 22,000 tonnes out of Brazil. And we'll be operating at stage 1 in the first quartile of the cost curve, but with expanding to stage 2, we can see driving that down to $300 to $400 per tonne. Our estimated conservative price for the basket graphite tonne is around 900. So it's a high margin business for us, and I'll explain a little bit about the margins as we go forward. So here you can see that's our latest dryer. We installed that for 12,000 tonnes. So we run that on a day shift only basis. That gives us a surge capacity of 6,000 tonnes. But it's a modular plant, so that means that we can actually bolt exactly the same plant onto this one, and that'll give us 24,000 tonnes for stage 2. So 4,000 tonnes surge capacity. So we have a lot of things like that in place, ready for stage 2. We have a tailings dam built for stage 2. We have the power, we have the water, we have the workforce. So we're well advanced in terms of delivering stage 2. A little bit about our plans for stage 3, expandable graphite production to end products such as foils and shielding and fire retardants. We see it as a very natural extension of our business. Our independent testing from Germany has reached over 500 expansion ratio, so it's a very high value product. We believe we can add 3 to 4 times the value in stepping to stage 3. Finally, just a little bit about our lithium project, which is quite exciting for us. It's called Millie's Reward. It's also in Madagascar. It's roughly about 8 kilometres strike length of multiple pegmatite outcrops. The highest outcropping grades that I've seen in 25 years of mining. We actually have crystals with us. Peter's got one next to him there. It's at the theoretical maximum of 8% lithium. A lot of the grades that we've had across the tenure of sort of 6, 5, 7s. I think the highest grade ever recorded at Greenbushes, which is the highest grade mine in the world, was 5. So we're pretty excited to get in here and drill in the second half of the year. It's really a virgin discovery, and we're pretty excited about developing this. You can see here some of the outcropping pegmatites at surface. The locals have been mining it for that gem quality spodumene. Interestingly, you need a lot of energy to crush pegmatites, and there is grid power and a sealed road to site with a fully developed mine next door for Holcim, the cement manufacturers. And finally, all this is made possible because we have a very strong community engagement program. We were recently recognised above Sherritt and Rio Tinto, who are both in country with multi-billion-dollar investments, and we're quite pleased with how that's progressing, and really it's personally rewarding as well. So some of the catalysts coming up, certainly ramping up production to nameplate capacity, further exploration on our brownfields. Millie's reward looks really exciting for us in terms of a news flow and the value that we can add to the company. And thank you very much for your time.